Boom. Phil and I are here. We're talking Pentiment. It's a game on Xbox Game Pass, and it is an interesting game, isn't it, Phil? It's very text based, huh? A lot of dialogue.
So, a mutual friend of ours, referred to this game as a visual novel, which I guess is a niche of gaming that I had never discovered before. And this is a game that I want to like really bad,
Dude, I want to
but
like it too, but I'm having such a tough time. So, I mean, like, okay, first things first, what is novel about this game? Like, what about this game is like, okay, this is something that I want to like? What is drawing you to this title?
so if you're coming off of being a casual gamer like us, and you come off of games like Fortnite and God of War and heavy first person shooters with tons of action and tons of combat, and then you walk into this game, you're just going to be shell shocked. There is
It's slow,
no
man.
combat,
It's super
there are
slow.
very few mini games, there is no audio other than, a pencil writing, pages turning, and the occasional bird chirp.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man.
I
It
mean, it's got vibes. That's the thing. Like, I mean, the art style as soon as you pop into the game and you feel like you're in an old timey like religious novel almost, like biblical style game with the art style and the text. Like the art design and the mapping in this game is just like this is a cool aesthetic. And just like making your way through those menus on the first couple of go-throughs is like, okay, this is magical. It's so charming. It feels like you're in a setting. The sound plays with the art design, plays with the text that's on screen. Like it all comes together in a very visually inspiring way. It's just, boy, you have to really stick with it to find the silver linings in this title, is what it feels like to me.
Yeah, I think that they could have done some things. The art design in this is amazing. Once you get used to the map,
Mhm.
it becomes a little easier to navigate. And the color palettes and the characters that they use really do draw you in. And I would say for the first couple of hours, I was pretty intrigued. But some of those dialogue trees are so long. You're talking 10, 20 times of pushing X or A or whatever button A on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
A on the controller, that you're still not done with the dialogue. And it's for people that like reading, right? You can make a game compelling and like a visual novel without making it boring.
Mhm.
And there were parts of this that were just, to me, they were just downright boring.
Well, we were playing Lego Fortnite on stream the other day, and I jokingly said, like, hey, if you feel like you're getting tired, just play 15 minutes of Pentiment and then you want to go to sleep. Which is exactly what I've been
Yeah,
doing. Like, this is a sleep inducing game. Like, I will play this
yeah.
before bed and then nod off, like, halfway through dialogue, knowing that it only checkpoints me once I'm out of a dialogue tree. So then I'm, like, buttoning through to make sure I get my save in, and then I move on. So I mean, like
Yeah.
we're really like being hard in this game, but I think the reason I have prioritized it as something I want to play is because it was on so many Game of the Year lists in 2022 or 20 what, last year 2022, right? And a lot of people were like, you really need to check this game out. So I'm sticking with it. I think I'm about an hour away from seeing credits on this game. And what I will say is it has a serious pacing issue, which is going to be the next kind of thing that we discuss here. But essentially, that first act is so much table setting that you're aimlessly just clicking through dialogue trees and you don't know what matters and what doesn't. And because there's so much of it, it's almost like sensory overload, at least it was for me. And the text like really got me overwhelmed early in this title.
Yeah, I mean, I was known to make fun of the easy reader mode, but in hindsight, I probably should have turned the easy reader mode on. Um, the beginning of this game is so slow that it just really takes a long time to get into it. And to come back to the novelty element, part of the reason I stuck with this game is because it really challenges what makes a game.
Mhm.
It is a experience. You will not get an experience like this really anywhere else. And as a
Agreed.
gamer, I've never had an experience like this. And there are parts of it that I really liked about, oh, this is kind of novel, hence the novelty element. But as time wore on, I just don't think that this genre is for me.
Yeah, I one thing that I will say is that now that I'm at the end of the game, and I think you're on Act Two, and I don't know that like coming out of this conversation, I would recommend you seeing it all the way through. But what I will say is like now that I'm near the end of the game, like they are really leaning into some interesting themes. And essentially what they've done is they've broken this game into three acts, and you are essentially bumping into generations of people. So the first series of characters you meet is one generation, and then the second generation, and then the third generation. And what you see over those three generations, are they exactly generations? No, it's like a mix. Some people live all the way through, some don't. But long story short, you're seeing how information is manipulated and construed throughout the multiple time zones that you're plugging into within the three acts. And by the end of it, you're really looking back on the entirety of the story and you're like, huh, I wonder if I would have made that decision like at the beginning of Act One, how it would change Act Three. And I think that's really the novelty or draw of this game is there is, just like you said, nothing like this game out there that I know of, where there's so much dialogue and all of these intricate plots are molding together in a way that you're just like, wow, this is something special. So I think that's why it sits atop so many Game of the Year lists of 2022. I personally, as a person that loves action-based games, it's very hard for me to wholeheartedly recommend it, but I will say the novelty of it is pretty amazing.